which is decking the halls. And today our talk is reflecting, remembering, and radiating love. Reverend Joyanne is really good at this. Do you ever see her standing like this? Now, she's not practicing for her school traffic patrol. We used to have them, but that would work too. But you know, we do this when the kids were leaving here and going to kids' school and youth school. We used to kind of just do that. And she's going to do that probably like this and probably with her own words. So I just invite you to kind of open up and just be receptive because she's got some gems coming at you. So I'll introduce, let's bring up Reverend Joyanne Fournier.
All right, thank you. I love that song. We can have Christmas every day and sing that, right? Before we begin, I have a little bit of humor for you. And I love humor. I think that God has, after all, God has a really good sense of humor. He's created all of us, right? All the world. And many interesting things. So I love that, the Creator. So to start off, we have Rael over here, who's sitting there with his lovely Easter hat. No, it's not Easter. Christmas hat. I just think he's awake. All right, so go ahead, Rael. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Reverend Joyanne. Apparently in Vegas there's a big problem with, there's lots of centers in Vegas outnumbering the casinos. So what the patrons do on a Saturday, they go out to gamble, and on Sunday they'll come in, and on collection they'll put their tokens or the chips in the basket for their donation. And so that's causing a lot of grief on it. So what the respective churches have decided to do is to just go to the local monastery and have them count it, and then they will return the chip to the respective casinos and get money instead of, and then give it to the centers. So my question to you is that would that make those monks chipmunks?
Yeah.
I was wrapping present the other day at my house, and I had a really awkward moment when I discovered that my wrapping paper was the same as Santa's. And how many reindeers does it take to screw in a light bulb? How many reindeers did it take him to screw in a light bulb?
How many reindeers?
Reindeers. Takes 9 of them, one to screw in the bulb, and 7 at the other 8 to hold Rudolph down. And what did Adam say to his girlfriend on Christmas Eve?
What?
It's Christmas Eve. Thank you.
All right, let's give him a hand. Thank you, Rael. All right, it's important to laugh, right? It's very good. All right, so today's message is entitled Remembering, Reflecting, and Radiating Love. And I have a couple really amazing things to share with you. One of the two things is, you've probably never heard this before. I just discovered it. And our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, wrote a Christmas letter. Let's say ooh. Ooh. See? And we're going to hear it. It's not a real long one, but it's amazing. I never knew that Dr. Holmes wrote a Christmas letter. So I'll be sharing that a little bit later. And then we're going to have a practice. I'm going to move this over just a tad. You all see it? And this actually sits over my bookcase, because I think it's a really important word, and that's what we're going to be practicing today. I'm going to teach you a new tool about radiating love, and it's very powerful, and there's no words involved. So it's a wordless radiation of expansion of the heart. So we'll be doing that today. So our theme for the month is to deck the halls, and each week we are decking the halls of our hearts and of our minds with peace, with power, with grace, with faith, and of course with love. And so this morning, as we remember and reflect and radiate love, I want to begin with a quote that combines the elements of last week's sermon. Who remembers last week? Let's see, what were the 3 words? Anyone here remember? Just as a test. Who remembers the 3 words we looked at last week? None of you. She wasn't here. Okay, well that's okay. All right, but I shared the idea that the season is for some peace, power, and grace. And I talked a little bit about peace. I talked a little bit about the power of the divine. Uh-oh, someone's getting their notes out. And then I talked about living in grace. And what that means, and I think it was Marie, wherever you are back there, you gave the most beautiful definition. She said, when we live by grace, it is when we know who we are and we are divinely aware that we are that infinite presence is living through us. It is looking through your eyes right now, right where you are. It is breathing you. The presence of God is breathing you. Isn't that wonderful? So we're breathing in and breathing out God, because God is everywhere. I love that. And this is taught in all of the world's religions, all of the spiritual journeys. I love that. So this quote that I'll be sharing that kind of ties these 2 weeks together, and then I want to share just a tad. Next week, we are having the most amazing service. I will be gone. That's not why it's so amazing. I thought that's true. No, it's going to be amazing because our minister, my co-minister, Reverend Ken, and Reverend Pat, and I'm hoping Reverend Lana might be back. They're going to offer something I don't believe has been done in this center before. It's called a Taizé service. So I'm just getting a little infomercial on that. You're going to be seated in a circle, and there'll be candles, and there'll be readings and sayings and prayers and music by our house band. It's very beautiful. It's a different kind of service. It's more introspective. So that's just a little bit of what's going to be happening. And I'm taking a week off. I'm going to play in the snow. I'm going to make snow angels and snow people and snow everything, and I'm just going to have the best time ever. So I'm very much looking forward to having that week, that time off. So here's the quote. So, and this is from Unity co-founder Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, and they were very dear friends, actually, with our founder, Dr. Holmes. So this is what he said. He said, power is the faculty in mind that propels outward, and it must necessarily have balance with another faculty in order to hold its equilibrium. There is but one other faculty that has action, and that is love, whose office is attraction. Wouldn't that be nice to have that as an office sign? Here is love. When power and love are associated, the forces of being are equalized, and we unify all the work that Spirit has given us to do. We are all about our Father's business, whether you know it or not. And our dominion over the forces of being are exercised in peace. So when peace is associated with our divine nature of love, there is no limit to our power. So that kind of brings last week and this week together. So those are great words, but they're a little bit abstract. So let me put them in the form of a story. I love stories. And I love that the great master teacher, Jesus, taught us in stories. And so this is a story that really brings to life the power of love. And so I begin by saying this, and just imagine if this was you. So there was a woman who came out of her house, and she saw 3 old men with long white beards sitting on her front lawn. So imagine if that happened to you. You look outside and here's 3 old men with long white beards sitting on your lawn. What are you going to do? She did not recognize any of these men. But she walked up to them and she said, I don't think I know you, but you must be hungry. They looked kind of hungry. Please come in and have something to eat. Well, the 3 men, these 3 old men, said in unison, is your family home? So surprised that they all talked at once, she said, no, they're not home right now. Well, they said, we cannot come in. We will wait until your family comes home. So in the evening, her husband came home and the daughter, and they were kind of surprised to see these 3 men with long beards sitting on the front lawn of their home. And she told them who they were. She said, I'm not sure who they are, but they won't come in and have food with us, even though she invited him. So her husband said, well, go tell them right now that, of course, we're all home. Please come in, all 3 of you, please come in and have supper with us. So the woman went out and she told this to these 3 old men sitting on her front lawn. They all stood up, and the woman went up to them and she said, you're all invited to come in. Well, one of the men spoke and he said, my name is Success. And he pointed to another of his friends, and he said, and this is happiness and this is love. And we don't come in together. You have to pick one of us. So the woman goes in the house and she says, well, this is so weird, so strange. These three men, their names are Success, Happiness, and Love, and they won't come in together. We have to pick one of them. So the husband goes, Success, tell the one that's named Success, I want him. I want success in our house. And then the wife disagreed. That's unusual, isn't it? The wife said, no, let's have happiness. Isn't that the most important thing? Happiness. And then the daughter piped up and she said, Mom and Dad, what I really want in this house is love. Let's invite love. So they both agreed. The husband and wife agreed. And so the wife went out and said to the old men that are there, we decided to have love come into our house. So love stood up and began to walk into the house, and immediately Happiness and Success stood up and followed him. And she said, well, wait a minute, you said you wouldn't come in together. And they said, well, if you would have picked Success, we wouldn't have come in together. If you would have picked Happiness, we wouldn't have come in together. But because you picked love, what happens is when you are loving, when there is love, there is also success, and there is also happiness. I love that. So it brings that all together. I was watching the most amazing show the other day on TV, and it was called The Making of Santa. And they were sharing that this group goes around the world and finds men that kind of already sort of look like Santa. So they were, even if they don't put the red suit on, they kind of had a real white beard and white hair and kind of a cute little tummy, right? And they're very happy. And as they were showing these different men that they got to work for this organization, they discovered, this is what they shared, I found most interesting. They said that this group believes that the real Santa was the three wise men. And I was thinking, I wonder why they thought that. And they showed a painting of the three wise men coming when the Christ child was born. And they all had white beards. And of course, they were carrying gifts. So isn't that amazing? It was the first time, have you ever heard that before? That the original Santa might have been the three wise men. Because we know Santa's very wise. He knows what we want, right? He brings that. I get to see Santa this week as I go away. He's coming on Christmas to bring presents to all the people that are gathering. I love that. I can't wait to meet Santa. It's going to be fun. I'll bring my list and check it twice. So wherever there is love, there is also success and happiness. And this, my friends, is what we are here this morning to do. To radiate that love. And I believe that is what this holiday season, why, in fact, the Christ child was born and decided to embody and came forward as a beautiful gift of love to all of us. And many respected scholars agree that Jesus made no claim to be, in a personal way, a savior. He did not say that, actually. Those ideas came later on in his experience. But I found Stephen Mitchell in his book, The Gospel. This is an authentic version of the gospel according to Stephen Mitchell. And this is what he said. This is so amazing. This whole thing is so powerful about the Christ child and the importance of this time of year. And this is what Stephen Mitchell said. He said, we cannot begin to see who Jesus was until we remove the layers and layers of interpretation which the centuries have interposed between us and him, and which obscure his true face, like coat after coat of lacquer upon the vibrant colors of a masterpiece. Aren't those great words? The portrait of Jesus that emerges from the authentic passages of the Gospels is a man who had emptied himself of all judgment and all mental trappings and spiritual baggage. Anyone have spiritual baggage? Only one of you. Sheila, she's claiming it that. So he emptied himself of spiritual baggage that separated him from the true life of spirit. This master teacher Jesus, his trust in God was as natural as breathing. And in God's presence, he himself was fully present. And in his very language, in his very powerful words, he reflected God's deep love of no separation. He said, the Father and I are one. He didn't believe in separation. His very language reflected God's deep love for everything that is earthly. There was no negativity. The sick, the depressed, the despised, the morally admirable, as well as the repugnant, as the weeds, like, for example, weeds and flowers, and he talked a lot about that in his parables. For the lions, he loved the lions, and he loved the lambs. It didn't matter. He loved and he loved and he loved. He taught that just as the sun gives light to both the weeds and the flowers, the rain brings nourishment to both the righteous and the unrighteous. God's compassion, God's love embraces everyone. There is no preconditions, nothing we need to do, nothing we need to earn or have to say. When we are ready to receive that which is the truth of our being, it is there. And the more we live in this presence, the more we take the time every day to realize that Christ consciousness is right here. It's right where we are. We are that Christ consciousness. The more we know that, the more effortlessly it flows through us. Beautiful. So when Jesus was born, there came unto this earth an individual who wanted to teach us that teach us what religion is supposed to be. Up until then, it was all about following rules. I don't know if you all remember in your studies, it was about the law. You had to do this, and you weren't allowed to walk this many steps on the Sabbath, and you couldn't cook. I like that one. You have to cook it. So you had all these rules, right? And it was all about following their laws, their human laws, following a set of guidelines. But after he was born, religion became about love. It's all about love. That's why I brought my love word. It's all about love. The consciousness of humanity. It's about love, love, love. About loving ourselves. And when you love you are available to love others. So the message is only a real message when it comes alive in us. When it comes alive in us. And that's what we're going to be doing today. We are going to wake it up even greater than we're going to turn up the volume of love. Within us. And radiating outward, not only for ourselves, starting to love us, but to everyone in this room, to everyone in Kamloops, to BC, to Canada, to the universe, to the world, and then the universe upon universe upon universe. You have enough love in you that you could love, and this is from Louise L. Hay, you could love the whole world. There's that much love in you, because right where you are, God is there. This Christ consciousness. I love that. So according to our reading today, which you beautifully did, John Wolcott Adams, he says, when you generate love, when you are a generator of love, which we're all going to do that today, it becomes in you like a mighty stream locomotive. Woo-woo! How many of you hear the train? I can see the train where I live. You become like this mighty locomotive of love, and everywhere you go, people feel it. It's not anything you say, but you are it. You are that. So, before we do that, though, I'd like to share with you the Christmas letter from Dr. Ernest Holmes, and it's all about the three words today: reflecting, remembering, and radiating love. So this is his letter that I just found, bless you, that's written for all of us. So I'm going to invite you just to close your eyes, if you wish, just so you can hear these words in such a beautiful way from our founder. And particularly because it speaks to our theme of remembering, reflecting, and radiating love. And that's pretty much what he's talking about in this letter. Here we go. Christmas letter. And I quote, "Christmas," said Dr. Holmes, "is for remembrance. The love manifested through our gifts to each other typifies the offer of life and the givingness of spirit to its creations. The hands of the eternal are outstretched through our hands, and thus the heart of the infinite beats in the human heart. But the giver must give of himself or herself, for the gift without the giver is bare," said Holmes. "It is not then only in the lavish gifts that we find true giving, but also in the sweet simplicity of remembrance, in the kindly thought, the tolerant mind, the gentle act. Love alone can give love. and goodness alone can create more goodness, said Holmes. The one who gives for reward does not give it all. He seeks to bargain, to trade for spiritual gifts. Hence, he senses a loss in his own giving and finds no completion through the act. But the one who gives half his meat to the hungry, and I will add in half of his vegetables if you're vegan, and is warmed by a real sense of comradeship, he has established an actual unity, oneness within himself and other offspring of the Creator. Great causes succeed when there is a giving of humanity to humanity. With the check must come the one who wrote the check, his or her interest, enthusiasm, their love. The check must be a symbol of his desire to impart of himself, and then shall it multiply its benefits and do good. Charity is cold, said Holmes, but love is warm. When heart speaks to heart, a divine conversation has taken place, a heavenly discourse. Each of us in this room, every one of us, has something to give. Let us see that we give our best. If we are bringing our gifts to the altar of love, nothing less than the best will be acceptable, and nothing less than all is enough. And then finally, Holmes said, may the real spirit of Christmas, the givingness of life to itself, the self to the self, enter and abide in you now and through all times. Sincerely, Ernest Holmes. So that was his beautiful Christmas letter. And so today we are here to remember and to reflect and to radiate love. And to do that, I'm going to close our time together by reflecting on and experiencing a line in that letter. So this is the line, my favorite line. When heart speaks to heart, a divine conversation has taken place, a heavenly discourse. And so now we have this time to do that. I'm going to ask my wingman over there, Rael, the jokester. Will you please start, and we'll go right into that. So I'm going to invite all of us this is wordless, there's nothing you have to say or do. I'm just going to have us do this new spiritual practice. You may already do it. I actually do this every single day. And it's a way to create more love in your life, to be that, to live that love, to radiate that love. So I invite you just to gently close your eyes. And if you wish, you may want to place your hands on your heart. And so first, those of you who are feeling particularly filled with love this morning, and feeling like you have love radiating already, pounding, rushing, pouring, streaming, flowing through you in consciousness, I invite you right now to imagine that you are radiating this beautiful love. Imagine that it is like sparkling light. And just imagine that right where your heart is, there is this amazing radiating light of love. By the Ascended Masters, they call it the love star. So I am calling in just the awareness of all of the Ascended Masters. And Jesus, the Master Teacher, is one of those, of many. Buddha, so many masters that have ascended, have moved forward, have been on this planet. And so just imagine this love star, that you are this love star, and it is radiating right in your heart. And I want you to imagine that you're turning up the volume of that love. It is sparkling light. Powerful, beautiful love light. And I want you to radiate that love to everyone here in this room. So imagine first you're loving you, you're filling your body. And then it's so immense, this love that is you, this radiating love energy is so beautiful. This love star. It permeates every cell and fiber of your being, and it is radiating out beyond you to fill this room. So imagine right now that there is so much love in you that you are filling this entire room and every single person in it. And if you are feeling less than full this morning, just simply breathe and receive this love. If you're having a little bit of a challenge, sometimes holidays can bring these things up. So just imagine. So if you're feeling a little challenged today, allow yourself to receive this love that the rest of us are sending out. Just receive it. Just breathe it in. Receive and breathe. Receive and breathe that love that is being radiated to you right now. Bless you. And now imagine that you have received this love and you are sending it back to the receiver, to the sender, I should say. So you have received this love. It's filling this room, and you're just sending it back. So you breathe it in and you fill it up more, you turn up the volume and you send it out again. So every part of you, everyone in this room, every part of this room, every particle of this room filled with love, the Christ love. You're giving and receiving love. And we're sending that love to everyone who is unable to be here today. For example, Lana. Let's imagine that we're sending this love to Lana, Reverend Lana, whose husband just passed away. So let's all send our love to Lana. Just imagine that you're like a fax machine of love. And you're pressing that button and you're sending your love to Lana right now. And to anyone else who is unable to be here today, all of our members, all of those who have ever attended our center for the last 10 years. And now imagine that you are sending that love. There's so much love in you. This room is just overflowing. I want you to send that love out from this room to fill all of Kamloops. Sending it to your family, to your friends. All of Kamloops now filled to overflowing, radiating the sparkling love star. Sparkling love. And moving that now even beyond Kamloops into BC, all of British Columbia. You are loving the province we live in. You are sending your love from this room to all of BC. And now to all of Canada. See it like on a map. It's just filled with love. It is amazing. The whole nation filled with love. And now it's overflowing out to the U.S. And it's going over the oceans, across the oceans, over the mountains, until this entire planet is filled with love. Just see the whole earth spinning in a perfect orbit. So beautiful, so filled with love. A sparkling blue-green gem. A beautiful blue-green gem spinning in space, overflowing with love. We are the planet of love. And now move it beyond the earth to our little solar system. To Pluto, to Venus, to Mars, to our moon. Don't want to forget the moon. Beyond that, to our galaxy. And there are 100 million galaxies in our universe upon universe. So send that love beyond our universe. So we are tracking the universe as it is being created, tracking it at the speed of light. Your love filling the entire universe, upon universe, upon universe, upon universe, upon universe. 100 million universes filled with love. And then if there's any spot in your life, any place where you're hurting, any pain, kind of very very gently bringing your awareness back, still allowing it to flow from you into the universe upon universe. And since we're multi-dimensional beings, you bring your awareness very gently back into this room. And if there's any spot in your life, whether it's with a family member, an argument, or a pain in your body, or a diagnosis, or any spot in your life that you would like healed, send your love to that place. Any spot in your life, and send it love. And just feeling that universal love of the Christ child, that child beautiful, that came here to teach us love. That we are made out of love, and we are all here to love. And we have within us that Christ child. And our manger of love inside our heart. And so with gratitude and blessing this beautiful sacred time of year, this holy Christmas, filled with love, you made out of love, here to love, and filled with love. That is the message of this season. That God so loved the world that he sent his Son. And every one of us is that. The Son, S-O-N, or the Son, S-U-N, of love. We are the son of love, or the daughter of love, here to love. And so in that wonderful, beautiful place of love, and in gratitude for that, I simply say thank you, infinite, loving presence, for your love, for your life, that is my life, that is our life now, and always. We are radiators of love. And so, acknowledging that, knowing that, and in agreement for that, let us say together, and so it is. Thank you, Rhea. We're going to have a song